Are Chameleon Skinks any good in patch 5.1? Actually, Chameleon Skinks are one of the standout skirmishing units in the entire game, legitimately top tier because of the variety of what they bring to the table. They're not elven archers, they're not handgunners, so throw those expectations out. They are a missile tar pit unit that has stock and actual decent melee stats in a pinch. It's interesting, and interesting is good here. So let's take a look at such a close range the camouflage is no longer effective. Recruited for 650 gold and 163 upkeep from a tier 2 Skinks building, which is not much more than a red-crested Skinks unit. On Ultra scale, this gets you 90 entities, 30 less than Skirmishers, 70 less than Skink cohorts, with 4,860 health between them for 54 health per entity. Armor is 30, the Skink standard. Chameleon Skinks have an ingrained 40% missile resistance, which means they soak arrow, bullet, any kind of ranged attack, magical attack or not, to that extent. Leadership begins at 58, and that's not that high, but that's at the start of a campaign with major tech milestones adding to base leadership. Speed is 48 and charge speed 52, so no faster than Skink Skirmishers. Melee attack starts at 20 and unlike Skirmishers, is poisoned from the get-go, which isn't a big deal with an early campaign tech, Tablet of the Skinks, but you get it in multiplayer. Attack interval 4.3 with no splash damage. Melee defense starts at 22, which is still quite a lot better than Skirmishers. Weapon strength is 25, base 20, and armor piercing 5, same as other Skinks. Charge bonus is 10, and mass is a mere 70 per entity. For ranged, ammunition is 26, like the Skirmishers, but that goes up with Tablet of the Skinks. Range is 80, a bit superior. Missile damage is officially 20, poison attacks 2. Each hit inflicts 9 base and 3 armor-piercing damage, but of course, fewer entities firing 1 dart per skink. Reload time is 6 once again. Total accuracy 30, which modifies other numbers like calibration distance 45, calibration area 3, and there is a small penetration cap, max 2 targets panned past the first, highly unreliable. The unit has the Primal Instincts buff nowadays if below 50% HP, can inherit causes fear from nearby Kroq scores, can fire whilst moving, has Vanguard deployment, has stalk, they're chameleons after all, has Strider, so no slowdown when going through a forest like other Skinks, and like other Skinks they're aquatic, so no slowdown in shallow water anyway. And, yeah, didn't these guys used to have dodge too? I guess they reined that in because it was pretty strong on a supposed missile unit. Well, at one point stalkers didn't exist either, so that's an Oxyotl content drop thing. Oh yeah, I'm not covering the special lore boss, but they exist and they rock. In the redline skills, of course, Skirmisher gives plus 6 melee attack, plus 6 melee defense, plus 12% weapon strength, and plus 8% missile strength at 3 pips. Spawnkin grants rank 7 chameleons, plus 5 leadership, plus 5 more melee defense, and 15% missile resistance, yes, on top of their 40% starting resistance. That's like having an omnidirectional High Elf Spearman Tower Shield. Think about that. That's why I said they're a missile tar pit. I'll show the tech tree boost, and the Rite of Sotek exists, and that would make their output even better, but that's mostly for future campaign videos. So how do you use the Chameleon Skinks? Well, here we have a much larger range of potential ways to mess with the enemy. First, I think the math works out to they're doing slightly more damage than Skirmishers, but it's not that much higher, therefore you should still consider this a low damage unit. Having said that, it's annoying to kill. Now that there's no special melee defenses, they're really vulnerable to cavalry catching up, but that's melee cavalry. Pistoliers are going to get shredded trying to do a missile duelist pursuit. And of course, spells will hurt. That's really what the Chameleon Skinks are all about. You're picking your fights, creating unfair matchups, and ruthlessly exploiting them. One of Kroq-Gar's quest battles involves an isolated position with 1 High Elf Archer unit and 2 Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. 3 Chameleon Skink units, by themselves, are more than enough to attack this stuff and annihilate. The darts help, but the poison melee is sufficient in that circumstance. They can't outfight that much in melee for Kroq-Gar, but this, they could do. So artillery busting from behind is one of your better uses of them. They're also one of the more efficient Dwarf Slayer slaughterhouses around. No armor? No problem. Well, Slayers don't lose weapon strength anymore, but Chameleon Skinks want nothing to do with melee with Slayers anyway. A dart in the face will do. Failing this, being a reserve force or your anti-air back line serves entirely well, and if you have anti-cavalry cav or feral carnosaurs, surprising an enemy flanking force with skink fire support will help wreck their day. If it's devious, it probably qualifies. And in a fire-slan army, there's no law saying you can't slap down a flaming sword of ruin and make ethereal enemies wish they'd never left the grave. The possibilities are boundless, restricted only by your finances and your recruitment slots, but if you accept they are definitely not melee troops, and only do it when they can get away with it, you can benefit from their ability to surprise, and once far enough from the enemy, they'll vanish once more. Take care, and have fun making your opponents squint at every rock, fearing it might be you in disguise.